Friday. Hope you were doing well. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I just looked up and I'm like, I see a text from Eric, and he's like, "Are you not going live today?" And did not realize that it was time. So, welcome to Cooped Up Live, the daily broadcast where I just talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. Sometimes I drop some f bombs. Sometimes I don't. Most of the time, I do. While we're waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. You can visit that anytime. I'm Cooped Up as my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow wherever you are, particularly if you're on the Instagrams. And last but not least, wherever you watch or listen to this, it is broadcast on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, sometimes Instagram Live if I can get the technology figured out, and then rebroadcast in audio format on all of the major podcasting platforms. So click the bell, subscribe, whatever, so that you know that I have come live. Also, I welcome comments, so comment away. So my day has been totally jacked up. So, hey, Mama, how are you? You sending me a kitty also? So last night, so I went to bed last night. Everything felt fine. Todd has started watching the show called Designated Survivor. I don't think it's very new. It's Kiefer Sutherland. It's presidential. I love any show that's got a president in it. So, well, I'm looking very dangerous for you today too. I think that's actually lint from something. But so we were watching that last night. Went to bed a little later than normal, probably about 11. And then in the middle of the night, I woke up with just this headache. And normally when I get a headache, it's very specific. I'll get it like right there on my temple, or I'll get it like in my eye socket, like where I can actually reach in and feel the knot that is where the headache is. But last night's was different. It was like, it felt like my whole skull was being crushed, like from both sides of my temples just smushed in. And I know Mountain Cedar is really high right now. And the weather is kind of changing, so there might be some barometric changes and stuff. But it was so bad that I could not sleep. And so then I finally this morning got up, and it was still happening. And I got up, and it hurt so bad that I got up to go to the bathroom, and I thought I was going to throw up. Like, it was making me nauseous. Like, it hurt so bad. And so I popped some Advil, and I took my blood pressure medicine and another allergy pill, and went and got back into bed. Needless to say, I missed taking the kids to school. Luckily, Todd filled in and took care of that. And woke up a little bit later, and I felt mostly okay. Still just a little like it almost felt like I had like taken too much decongestant or something. And I didn't take any decongestant. I don't take those. But so I got up and I ate some real food instead of my diet food, and drank a ton of water. I actually got some electrolytes in my system, and I felt mostly better. I still feel mostly better now. And I'm not drinking, by the way. The kids actually, Claire told me earlier, she's like, "Oh, we just thought you were hungover." I even have a reputation with my children. But I was not hungover because we are observing dry-ish January. I have yet to decide whether tonight I'm going to break it or not. But I have decided that I have reached the end of this extreme diet that I'm on, this Optavia diet. I've lost nearly 30 pounds. I'm like 2 pounds from my goal. And I think that is enough for now. I'm going to switch back over to Weight Watchers. That's just more humane to me. Easier to, you have to count points and stuff, but it's actually easier to manage, not eating all so often and all that stuff. But I just think that my body right now is like, so I'm on this diet. I'm on blood pressure medicine now. I'm on ADHD medication. I've stopped drinking a little, well, for the most part. All these things, my body is like, what the fuck, Cooper? This is not you. This is not us. We're going to have to get a divorce if you keep going this way. It's throwing the pots at my head. So, but I was looking at my Facebook memories earlier. I do see my face thinner. Like I do realize that I am thinner. And mostly I feel like in the center, like my clothes fit better. I'm more confident in my clothes, all that kind of stuff. But I was looking at some older videos, they were just popping up in my Facebook memories. Oh, because today is the anniversary of the insurrection. That's what it was. And there was a video I made about that. And it was not an anniversary we want to celebrate. Ironically, what's going on in the House of Representatives right now on this day is very telling. Well, we can talk about that in a minute. But the my face was so round. I forgot how big I was, like 30 pounds ago, which I guess is, I mean, when you're only a 200-pound person anyway, and you're naturally a thin person, it's got to go somewhere, I guess. But I can see I'm not even going to go there. Never mind. Occasionally I filter myself. Am I blushing? But anyway, so I took the kids after school today on Fridays. It's a weird week because I went back to school yesterday and they're out today already for the weekend. And we have this thing where I always take them to the 7-Eleven by our house. It's a real fancy 7-Eleven on Fridays after school for a little treat, end of the week treat, that kind of thing, right? And we're in there, and we always see other families, because I think we're not the only ones who do it. We see other families who do it. And this little kid who I adore, I've known his parents since we were in college. He has 2 dads also. And he runs up to me. His name is Andrew. He runs up to me and he hugs me. And he's like, "Are you here to buy a lottery ticket too?" I just loved it. And I wasn't. I was like, I already bought mine, because tonight, y'all, Mega Millions. Is it pushing? What's the latest? I know it was pushing $1 billion already. Let me look at my Jackpocket app and see what it's at the moment. Because I buy my lottery tickets via the Jackpocket app. I don't go to 7-Eleven, because you cannot, at 7-Eleven in Texas, you cannot charge your lottery tickets. You have to pay cash for them. Yeah, Mega Millions is now up to $940 million. And the drawing is tonight at 10 p.m. So I got my numbers. Anyway, so that was my day. And then I had an appointment at my iPad. The keyboard for my iPad that is very expensive and was from Apple has stopped talking to the iPad. And so I had an appointment with the Genius Bar to take it in. And I take it to the one at so they were like, you can either go to this Apple store, or this Geek Squad thing, which manages, they have their own like Genius Bar kind of thing at the Best Buy. I chose that one because parking is so much easier. It's easier to get into, less insane, all that kind of stuff. So I take it in there, they analyze it, and they're like, basically, the Bluetooth has gone out on it, on the keyboard. And it turns on and then it turns off. And they're like, so we can send it off, but it's so old, because I think my iPad's like 4 years old. Then we can send it off and we'll decide whether or not what we're going to do after that. And I'm like, oh no. So what is it? What's a new one cost? And so then I get upsold I don't get upsold. I actually, got a new iPad case, but look at this new iPad case, the way they look. It looks like a laptop. You see that? That's Claire's hedgehog, by the way, on there. But it has a touchpad and all that. I'm like, sign me up. $375 later for a case. Cheaper than an iPad though, or an iPad or whatever. But so I had that, and then just came home, work. We are like in the thick of end of the year and end of the month reporting. Always the first week is so fun when you work for a PR agency or own one at that case. So, and so my day was so crazy that I actually did not make a card at all. So I'm looking at some notes I have here. But if you have anything you need to ask me, want me to talk about, whatever, put it in the comments. I will make sure I get to it. Also tonight, someone may hit the jackpot tonight, and we're getting RuPaul. RuPaul's Drag Race returns. And I believe it's on MTV now. I think that they switched it from VH1 to MTV. So it started on Bravo. Was it Bravo or Logo? I think it was on Logo. And then it moved to VH1, and now it's on MTV. Moving on up in the world. And so it premieres tonight. It's one of my favorite shows. It's one of the few shows that it's like must-see TV for me. So I'm very excited about that. The other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was I do not understand this Speaker of the House stuff that's happening, and I'm not talking about politics in the sense of if who's right and wrong or anything like that. Just what it looks like from my perspective and all that. Y'all know that I try not to. I have people of all persuasions, and I try to, as long as you're not crazy, I try not to denigrate the things that you believe, even if they're different than mine. But this this whole thing is, so the thing I feel sad for or bad for is like I one of my good friends, actually my Weight Watchers accountability partner, her husband is a congressman. And I know that she went up to see him being sworn in again because they have to get sworn in every time. And they didn't take their son this time because he's like 3 terms at this point. But a lot of these families, like who they brought their young children and all of that, and they thought that this was going to be just like a joyous event. Well, it turns out that they are all just sitting there rotting, basically. Kids falling asleep on the floor. I don't know if people are going home, but it's gone from this joyous occasion of we're so proud of our dad or our mom or our grandfather or whatever, that sort of thing, to when's this going to be over with? Like it's just sad. And the whole thing, so I don't understand. So it has to do with how many people show up to vote, if I understand correctly. Like I was reading something or watching something where they were talking about that if a certain number of people just didn't show up to vote or just said present and didn't vote, then the numbers would change because they just have to hit a threshold of the votes, not of the whole stuff. So, yeah, he just started his 6th term. Man, yeah. So he's had his family time, all that stuff. His son is great though. But anyway, but it's just so weird. And they're all starting to turn on each other, and it's being held up by this like group of people who I will say, and I said this yesterday to someone, I'd rather walk across hot coals on my lips than to agree with Lauren Boebert on anything or Matt Gaetz or anything like, or I assume that Marjorie Taylor Greene is one of this group of people too. But I'll give this to them. And my friend Craig wrote this exact same thing in his column yesterday over at He Said Dallas. He said mag.com if you want to read it. That at least they're sticking to their principles. Like I can appreciate that about the situation. They really, really dislike Kevin McCarthy, and they really, really don't like the direction of the Republican Party. I think most of the Republican Party looks at them and says the same. But at least they're like sticking to it, I guess, and they're not compromising, but isn't also part of governing compromise. And I think that that's where we've lost a lot of stuff. I think that earlier this week, we saw a great example of some old school politics of President Biden and Mitch McConnell, who were together in Kentucky at the dedication of a bridge that crosses, I think it's the Ohio River from Kentucky to Ohio. And it's part of the infrastructure bill. Both of them were there. Very complimentary of each other. We got this done, all that kind of stuff. That's with government, they're supposed to be compromised. It's not supposed to be a zero-sum game. Like that's the thing. I actually grew up my whole life thinking I was going to go into public service, thinking that I was going to be a governor of Texas. If you asked me when I was between 10 and about 15 years old, what my dream to be, my aspirational thing is, I would have said governor of Texas. That's what I wanted to be. And I just wouldn't do it now. Like it is too, I mean, hopefully the pendulum swings the other way and it's fun again and it's neat. Oh, here's the other thing. So the Democrats did something yesterday that made me feel like it's just so immature. All of what's going on and just the antics anyway are so immature. And not just them, everyone does it, but it was them I saw who were doing it. So yesterday they were doing a voice vote or something, and it was like someone moved to adjourn, and then the chairwoman was like, "Okay, all in favor, aye, all opposed, nay," and it's just vote by voice. Well, the way they did it, it was so unbecoming of such a respectful office. It was like, no, no. Like it was, and just like, it felt like they were at a fucking pep rally or I don't know what it was. It just did not feel becoming of the House of Representatives to me. Like, and I don't know, does that stuff happen in the Senate also, or are they the more mature chamber? I don't know. But I saw that, and I know that the other side does the exact same thing. So I'm not picking on anyone in particular. It just all seems so immature to me at that, uh, it just bothers me. Um, so I don't want any part of that anymore, at least not at this juncture in my life. I would never want to do local politics, though. Like some people are like, "Oh, you should look at like city council or something like that." I'm like, nope, nope. Too much case management, too much dealing with the average people trying to solve their problems. Like I would want to be like someone who is setting policy and governing, not managing. So my mom is saying that she thinks that 12 of the 20 holdouts have changed their vote to McCarthy. Is that true? Okay, I don't know. I have not kept up with it, but I did see. I got a headline that he still lost a vote, but there was a number of people that switched over. So I just don't get all of it, but hopefully it works itself out. I did read. I was when I was at the Genius Bar thing. I was looking at it on my phone, and it said that one of the reasons why they think that a lot of the holdouts switched over is because, well, one, it's looking bad on them as legislatures to their constituents at this point because they're looking like super extreme, and secondly, that they are going to have to stay there over the weekend and maybe into Monday or Tuesday if they don't shape up and actually do this vote that has never gone to this extreme in like over 100 years. But that second one was funny to me, Lo. It was like, oh no, this we have to work this weekend. Okay, I changed my vote. It's like all the other concessions are like, nope, nope, nope. But having to work on Saturday, not having it. Yes. Mark says the only office I can run for is president because candidates get Secret Service protection. I like that. Yes, I'm ineligible to run anyway, so I just think that, and the reason I'm ineligible is not I'm not actually ineligible. It's just I think that if you probably look through these recordings, like there's too much recorded of me saying just things off the cuff over the last 3 years that 3 years. I've been doing this for almost 3 years, y'all. That there's probably evidence in this already, if not other things that I have done. But anyway, what else? Did Southwest Airlines get their shit figured out? I have seen a lot of stuff also. I didn't even get to read the papers this morning at all. But I did see that they're sending out like vouchers and reimbursing for reasonable expenses and all that kind of stuff. And some people are like, will they ever recover? Like, of course they're going to recover. They're one of the biggest airlines. They have like the most fanatical base. Yeah, they screwed up some stuff over the holiday. They screwed up a lot of stuff over the holidays. But no one will. Here's the other thing is the things that they would need to do to correct the problems that they had. Specifically, they would need to switch to a hub and spoke system instead of a point-to-point system. Point-to-point system is in their DNA. It literally is who they are, and it's why people love them so much because you can fly point-to-point. You can fly from El Paso to Los Angeles, or you can fly from Little Rock, Arkansas to, say, Chicago, or I don't know where else, Washington, D.C., without having to bounce a million times, right? Or you just stay on it and you bounce in real short flights. But if you fly like American, if you want to go from El Paso to Los Angeles on American Airlines, what do you have to do? My guess is that you have to get on a plane in El Paso. You probably have to fly to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport or maybe Denver. I'm guessing Dallas-Fort Worth, though. And then you change planes there, and then you take a plane from there go back over El Paso to Los Angeles. And so, I don't know. I did my internship in college at Southwest Airlines. I generally have a very strong affection for that company. There were things I saw that I was kind of but for the most part, I like the mantra. I loved dealing with Herb Kelleher. He was like the best. But I'm an American Airlines girl. I'm gonna tell you, I like having an assigned seat. I like that I can buy a better seat. I like I actually prefer DFW Airport. It is easier for me to get in and out of. I think it is. I'm going to go on record as saying I think DFW Airport is one of the best airports on the planet. I think that it makes the most sense to me. It is the least crowded to me. That you don't go to a terminal unless you need to go. Airports where everyone has to go in at the same place, like Love Field or whatever, which is basically one terminal though. But that when they have a central point drives me insane. I'm like, I think the genius of DFW Airport is if you were going and you know your flight is leaving from Terminal A, you park at Terminal A, you go in through security at Terminal A, which is always a shorter line than if you all had to go together, and then you get in. They also have lounges. I like that too. So Sandy agrees with me about flying A and DFW Airport. Thank you. Lots of American flights lay over in Phoenix. I had no idea. I think they have actually, you know what? I think I knew that because I believe they have a maintenance facility in Phoenix. Kelly is saying that planes are back in the air at Southwest Airlines. They're estimating this FUBAR. I don't remember what FUBAR stands for. Fucked up. Blah, 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 blah. Will cost more than $700 million. Some people were like, they may have to declare bankruptcy. And I'm like, I think they're the only airline who hasn't, aren't they, at this point? So they'll be fine. Anything else? I was looking today at Avatar tickets again. I've changed my mind, which I'm prone to do, and I'll be the first to admit it when I do it. At first, I was like, I don't want to see it in 3D because it'll make me sick. It's too much. It's all that kind of stuff. I now completely want to see it in 3D. So I was already looking at tickets. And here's the thing. So I looked at my beloved Cinepolis in Victory Park. They have it in 3D there. And I was looking at tickets for tomorrow and Sunday. And I think word's gotten out about how wonderful Cinepolis is. And I hope I can claim no credit to that. I hope I've not contributed at all to that because I should have just stopped talking about it. Best movie theater in Dallas because it used to be that no one was ever there. It only has like 6 screens. The bathroom is really close and really clean. All that kind of stuff. Free parking in a garage, so no heat. You take an elevator up to the theater because it's in a high rise. And it's the best. But the movie theater for the 3D showings, it was like hardly 3. I couldn't get 4 seats together except for one showing. Unless I wanted to sit in the very front, and that is always the biggest mistake. Especially at those smaller theaters. But it's too long of a movie to go during the week. That's the thing. So maybe I just need to look at the next weekend and go ahead and buy the tickets in advance. Pray that we don't catch COVID. Because that's the other thing. Mason has got all these he's got a shadow day next Friday for a school. Then we're off on Monday, and then he's got his IC testing on Tuesday. So a week from Tuesday is to take this big fancy test again. Hopefully do better. And then I think he has a shadow day the next week, and then he has an audition and all that. I mean, it's just crazy. Oh, and next weekend he has this business school presentation as well. So this has got to be harder than getting into college. I'm ready for this month to be over in that sense. So January is always a kick in the nuts anyway. So, alrighty. Do y'all have anything that you want me to talk about? What are y'all up to this weekend? We are just chilling. I really wanted to undecorate my house, but I need to get confirmation or not from the magazine who wants to photograph it for next Christmas's issue, if they're actually going to do that or not. Because I'm ready. It's weird. This year I decorated so late that now I'm like just kind of tired of it. Like instead of it being an early big thing that I lived through and wanted to stay up until February, since we had to wait until like after Thanksgiving to do it, now I'm kind of like, not really into it anymore. Ready for it to be gone. So, and it's a lot of work to take down too. That's the only downside. So, I don't even know what the weather is this weekend. but we'll see. All righty. Well, if y'all don't have anything else, I am going to say goodbye. Mom took her Christmas trees down today. I know I should do that too. Or at least figure out what they want to take photos of and just take down everything else. Maybe move it all into one room so it looks extra done up in that one room and leave the reindeer up. So, anyway. All righty. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. And I will see you next weekend for another, or next week rather, for another episode of Cooped Up Live. Should I say? Talk to you later. Bye.